Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Angela. I'm on a weight loss journey. About halfway to my goal, I'm down more than 55 pounds with Bright Line Eating. I have so many videos here on YouTube because I have transformed this channel to be exclusively about weight loss, Bright Line Eating in particular. I have tips and tricks, life hacks, recipes, just grocery list. I show you what's in my fridge. I give you advice on how to eat more vegetables. That's my most recent video. I will come back to this video after I do this live and I will put it up here. I also have everything in the description box below for you because I have a playlist with every single Bright Line Eating video that is already in the description box for you. Today I wanted to talk about resuming. And this is such an important topic because in the Bright Line Eating world, you have people who are crystal vasers, and those are people who started Bright Line Eating and then have never broken their bright lines. They have followed the eating plan to a T and they do everything perfectly. They do everything they're supposed to. They spend time every day in a positive headspace. They write down their food. They commit it every day. They have a sponsor. They have a mastermind group. They do exactly weighing, measuring the food as they're supposed to. They are called crystal vasers because over time they have built a beautiful crystal vase that Dr. Susan Pierce Thompson, the founder of Bright Line Eating, has said, do not juggle with that. Do not mess that up. Keep that crystal vase intact with no cracks and no breaks. Then there are the rest of us, raising my hand, who fall off the wagon. Like we get in a groove and we're doing so well on Bright Line Eating and then something tempts us, we go off plan, life gets lifey, and then we do what we call a resume. And in the world of Webster's dictionary, that's typically spelled R-E-S-U-M-E. Whereas in Bright Line Eating, we call it Rezoom, R-E-Z-O-O-M. And by the way, I should also make it clear, because I say we in Bright Line Eating, I am not affiliated with Bright Line Eating at all. I'm simply just a normal woman in West Palm Beach, Florida, who loves the program and has used it to lose a lot of weight. And, I have inspired more than a dozen friends to start the program. I've had so many friends, probably like 25 people at this point have bought the book because of me. By the way, I do have a description box link for you to purchase the book as well as the cookbook. I'm a huge proponent of the program. I'm not affiliated with them. So that's my disclaimer. But I've read the book 3 times and I've watched a lot of her YouTube videos. I love the Facebook official page for Bright Line Eating. I would consider myself fairly educated about Bright Line Eating. I cannot speak as an expert. I'm not a PhD like Dr. Susan Pierce Thompson is, but I do feel like I have found a lot of thinking methods that have helped me in my own weight loss journey, which is why I'm so passionate on my channel about telling you the things I have learned, because I feel like I can be a shortcut for you so you don't have to read all the things that I've read and do all the things I've done, and spend all the money I've spent to try to figure things out. Like I can kind of give you little cheat ways to get there faster. So today, the reason I wanted to talk about resuming is because I've been watching a lot of content from Bright Line Eating in particular for resume. And that's because I have been what we call in the ditch, which is you're off Bright Line, you're binge eating, you're doing all the things you're not supposed to do. Like you're not, committing your food. You're not even planning or grocery shopping the things that you're supposed to eat on Bright Line Eating. Like I haven't touched my food scale. And yet I still think of myself as a Bright Line eater because one of the things about Bright Line Eating is that you consider it your identity. And so you make it like you're a person like, I don't eat sugar, I don't eat flour, instead of being like, I can't eat sugar or I can't eat flour. It's a way of thinking that you have made it your identity to be a Bright Line eater. And there are people who call themselves Bright Lifers. Those are people in the Bright Line Eating program who have done their boot camp and they're now deciding to, as Dr. Susan would say, they're staying close to the mothership and they remain active on a special private Facebook page. I am not a Bright Lifer, but I am a Bright Line eater. And so I consider myself a person who does Bright Line Eating, and even though I'm not currently doing it, I still try to have that identity of being a Bright Line eater. So the reason I want to talk about resuming, not only have I personally been off, but I have been listening to so many of Dr. Susan's videos here on YouTube. And I've also been, talking to my friends and thinking things through and, talking to other people who are Bright Line eaters who have been in the ditch and then gotten back on. So there are things I wanted to tell you today in this YouTube live that have helped me with my thinking. The first thing I wanted to tell you is that if you are in the ditch, like if you're on Bright Line Eating and you're eating perfectly and everything's going perfectly and the weight's falling off you and it's all great, which has been what I've been doing, then you are 2 feet away from the ditch. Like you have to be careful because at any moment you can fall into the ditch. Like the sabotager could talk to you, your inner food indulger could be like, oh, just take one bite, and then you're off plan for weeks, which is what happens to me. And then you're in the ditch. But what I want to tell you today, and why I wanted to talk about Rezoom, and why I'm not even ashamed to come on here and be honest and transparent and be like, I have been in the ditch for the past few weeks, is because even when you're in the ditch, you're only 2 feet away from back on track. So it's the way that you look at it, it's the perspective that you have. And I also feel like it's important to share with you my honest journey, because I don't want to mislead you or make you think or intimidate you in any way and think that I can't do bright line eating, because what if I fail? Raising my hand right here to be like, you can call what I've been doing failure. I don't. Bright Line Eating's founder, Dr. Susan, who I've said her name like a dozen times in this video, I adore her. I think she's an amazing, spectacular woman who has changed so many lives, including mine. Dr. Susan says it's all research. Like every day of your life is research into what gets you closer to where you want to be and what gets you farther away. And I know that being in the ditch and binge eating and being off bright line eating gets me farther away from where I want to be. So I resume. And when you resume with the REZOOM, there's different meanings to it. And in one way, Dr. Susan means it like get back on track quickly. Another way is when you resume, you are focused like a laser and you now are getting back on track with more knowledge. When you resume, you're not starting over from scratch. You're starting over with more knowledge. And so what I know over the past few weeks, what I have learned is that I personally fall victim to the what the heck effect, which is where I'm like, oh, I took one bite, and then I have the faulty thinking of might as well eat all the things. And of course, I don't feel good about it. Like I don't feel as energetic. I don't sleep as well. And there's a lot of chatter about food in my head every day. There's all the, food chatter. And so what I am longing for today and why I plan to resume tomorrow is that I miss the mental freedom. And that is the biggest thing that a lot of bright line eaters have said, is that if you are on bright line eating and you're doing what you're supposed to do, you have so much mental freedom because you're not making food decisions. And that is what I love. I also wanted to talk about Rezoom because I feel like people also wait for an arbitrary date, which I am also being guilty of that. Like you're like, I'm going to start on Monday. For me, tomorrow's Sunday because I'm doing this YouTube live on a Saturday. But like, I'm like, I'll start tomorrow because I have junk in the fridge that I will eat, all the NMF, not my food. NMF is what we call it in Bright Line Eating. And it's faulty thinking. And on Bright Line Eating, I feel like what I even personally need to work on, because I'm not perfect on this by any means, is forgiveness of self and resuming immediately, because I have not developed that skill yet. I am one of those unfortunate people that's like, I have to do it first thing in the morning. Like I'm not one of those people that's like, I can go do a binge and then my next meal, which will be lunch or dinner, will be bright. I just haven't been able to figure that out or been able to get a hold of it. But that's actually what you're supposed to do on Bright Line Eating. They're like, stop it immediately and then resume, like make your next meal a bright meal. Like don't skip it because you binged, like just get right back on track, weigh and measure. That's what you're supposed to do. Again, I'm not the perfect bright line eater. I'm very honest. And that's where I have been. There was something else I wanted to talk to y'all about with resuming and bright line eating as well. When it comes to the research and learning what works for you and what doesn't, I did find a lot of value in the video that I watched a few minutes ago. I'm forgetting which one it was. It was not the merry-go-round. It was, I'm totally blanking out on which video it was. When I go back after this YouTube live, I'll put which video it was in the description box so you can watch the exact Dr. Susan video that I heard her say this. But she was talking about the susceptibility scale and knowing where you are on the susceptibility scale. Like I myself on the food susceptibility scale am a 10 out of 10, which means I can't have the exceptions that somebody who maybe is like a 5 could do. And so you should know yourself and know that you have to follow the program to a T. And then when you fall off, being able to resume back on, that is, a strength of character. If you have to rely on the willpower muscle, there was also something else she said in a different video where it was talking about like, sometimes it takes what it takes when you are off plan and you are off track and you're eating all the food and you're in the food and you're just, addictively eating, which is what's been happening to me. You have to wait for that break. You have to wait for that glimmer of hope that you feel in your brain that you're like, oh, I'm going to jump back on track very quickly. I'm going to resume right now. There is that window, there is that narrow window of opportunity to get back on. And that message was really valuable for me because I was like, I am waiting for that window. And the window has been opening up pretty much every day this week. I felt a window. And I had a big event last night. It was a big fundraiser. And I think I was kind of waiting for that because I knew it was NMF and it was a very, very fancy event, dressy, one of those things. By the way, little quick sidebar shout out. I wore my masklesses, which is, if you have a mask on, it's like the earrings replacement, and it keeps, like, it's a mask chain that keeps your mask hanging around your neck. This is totally a sidebar that has nothing to do with bright light eating, but if you're looking for a Mother's Day gift idea, consider a maskless. Ta-da! But anyway, so I was at that event last night, all the NMF, all the NMD, and I kind of knew, I was like, I don't want to start bright light eating because I know I'm going to fall on that, which I did. And so I woke up this morning and I was like, I have done so much research over the past few weeks and I miss bright light eating. I want to resume. So what do I need to do? So the last tip that I want to leave you with today is to saturate your brain, expose yourself to as much bright light eating content as possible so that you can get aligned with that way of thinking to get back on track and to resume. And that is what I find the most helpful for me, because when I start thinking these sabotager thoughts, or I'm like, I've got this event, or my fridge is full of NMF, and I've got all these events coming up, whatever the excuses are, because there's always excuses. Life is lifey. Saturate your brain with as much bright light eating content as you can, whether that's rereading the book or trying a new recipe in the cookbook or calling your sponsor or your mastermind group or posting in the Facebook official page, SOS 911, cry for help. This is what I'm thinking. What can I say to myself? Repeat those mantras to yourself. Like, that's not my food, that's poison to me. Or, no matter what, just don't eat. Just don't eat no matter what. Like, find the mantras that work for you and that resonate. And for me, the saturating my brain, which means like exposing myself to as much content as possible, means that I have been watching so many YouTube videos from the Bright Light Eating YouTube page, and they are so helpful. Dr. Susan does a weekly vlog, and thank God for her doing that, because there's so much content out there that you can I just really just randomly pick. I just start hitting YouTube, like boom, play, and it's like 20 to 30 minutes. I listen, while I'm doing the dishes or driving somewhere or whatever. She also has had podcast content from 2015. So you have years worth of podcasts that you can listen to. I have also watched other Bright Line Eaters on YouTube. I'll be honest, I feel like there's not enough of us, which is one reason why I am so passionate about sharing my Bright Light Eating journey here on YouTube, because I feel like there's just not enough resources out there of real people like me that are doing the program and are just like, I'm willing to share with you my knowledge. And even if it means being honest and being like, I'm totally off plan today, but I will be back on plan tomorrow. I feel like there are more of us that are needed. So if you're sitting there at home and you're like, I would like to start a YouTube channel and I'd like to talk about Bright Light Eating, I say do it. Oh, by the way, doing this YouTube thing is also an accountability thing for me. Like, it's super helpful for me to know that every week I'm going to get on here and I'm going to talk to you. And, sometimes I pre-film my videos and I edit them, try to make them cute. I've got one that I meant to upload today at noon, because that's when I try to upload every Saturday at noon. And I just couldn't make it because I took my son to the playground and we were out and about running errands this morning. But here I am doing my YouTube live a couple hours late, but I showed up for you on a Saturday. This helps me. This holds my feet to the fire. This lets me know that I have committed to this lifestyle and I feel accountability to you. And I want to show up for my YouTube people. And, whether you found me through YouTube search or whatever, just know that I am like you. I am not special. I'm just a normal person who's been on this program probably longer than you. And so I've found some success. But let me be honest with you. If I had followed the program the way that I should have with 0 breaks, if I were a Crystal Vaser, I would be at my goal weight right now. So sometimes I think about that. Like, I don't want to beat myself up. I'm doing my research. I'm doing all these experiments, and it's not working when you're in the ditch and you're in the food and you're binge eating. That's not working. That's not Bright Light Eating. It's getting me farther away. So I know that the resume is important. The video that I watched, the merry-go-round, the Bright Light Eating merry-go-round video, I think it's called the Rezoom merry-go-round or the merry-go-round of Resume, can't remember. But anyway, so I watched that video and she was talking about how that you can resume at any time. And that's not an excuse to break your lines, because then it creates those fiber tracks in your brain. Like Brightline Eating is a science-based program, and it's all about brain health and healing your brain, all that good stuff. But she did, like, there's two ways to look at it. It's like, if you are crystal vasing, don't mess with that. Don't juggle with your crystal vase. Stay on the path. If you are off plan, you can resume easily. So there's two ways to look at it right now. Since I'm in the ditch, I'm looking at it like, I will get back on tomorrow. It's going to be beautiful. I have my food all planned. In fact, I will commit to you right now what I'm going to eat, and then I will let you go for this video. So tomorrow for breakfast, I'm going to have 4 ounces of milk in my iced coffee, whole milk, organic. And then I'm going to have 4 ounces of milk in my oats with 1 ounce of oats. And that's how I make my oatmeal. So the 4 ounces and the 4 ounces of milk together, 8 ounces, that's 1 protein. Then 1 ounce of dry oats. I stir it together with the milk. I make my oatmeal in the microwave that way with some cinnamon. No sweetener, of course, no sugar, no flour on Brightline Eating. I do 6 ounces of mashed banana. That's my breakfast. So for lunch, I'm going to do a salad that I love. I have it here on my channel. It's my beet and blue cheese salad. I have it meal prepped in my fridge. So I'm going to do that. And then for dinner, I'm going to have 10 ounces of corn, which is a lot of corn, but I really love it, and I look forward to that dinner. And then 2 ounces of cotija cheese, which is like that Mexican cheese, some Mexican seasoning, no sugar, of course, and 1 tablespoon of butter for a fat. So that's what I'm planning to eat for tomorrow. So I commit it to you here now. If you guys, by the way, if you're here on YouTube, and I know you follow me because of Brightline Eating, if you're interested in seeing what I eat in a day, I have been trying to film that for so long, and then I do a breakfast, and then I get busy throughout my day and I stop filming, but I'm pretty sure you'd be interested in that. So drop a comment, let me know. I can accommodate that, especially if a lot of people ask for it. I will do that. I will make the effort. Also, if you want to know some meal planning, like, you know, this is what I plan to eat over the next 3 days, and I could go over that with you, writing it down, committing it, all those things, my grocery list, whatever you need, let me know. Also, by the way, follow me across all social media at Angela Cruz Tube. On my Instagram, sometimes I post what I eat on Brightline Eating. It's more of like a mommy thing. I'm a mommy blogger. You can go behind the scenes of my life, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, you know, Instagram. I am on TikTok and Snapchat, even though I hardly ever do anything with those. But that's today's video. I hope it's helpful, and just know that I love you, and no matter what you weigh, you are perfect. You are a child of God. I'm a Christian. I believe that God created us perfect in his image, and your weight does not define you. And if you were born with an addictable brain, you can't help it. But now that you know what it is, you can do better if you choose to. That's what I'm trying to do. I hope this inspires you. I love you. You are perfect. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.